Salt isn't just a seasoning, it's a weapon against time. For thousands of years, civilizations relied on it to make meat last, to feed armies, to survive winters when the snow piled higher than your roof. Today, we swipe open our refrigerators and forget that our ancestors lived in a world without power, without freezers, yet still kept meat safe and edible for months, sometimes years. And in this episode, we're going to uncover how to do it yourself, with nothing but one simple ingredient. Stick around, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You're about to hold in your hands a piece of history that most people think is lost forever. Long before refrigeration, salt was currency. The Romans transported it across mountains. Egyptian pharaohs stored it in pyramids to keep provisions for eternity. They didn't measure grams or use chemicals. They trusted nature's oldest preservative and the patience to see it through. Salt works by drawing moisture out of meat, creating a hostile environment for dangerous bacteria. Listeria and other pathogens cannot survive in the dryness it creates. At the same time, it invites friendly bacteria to move in, bacteria that produce lactic acid, turning raw meat into a complex flavor profile that's rich, tangy, and surprisingly tender. In some cases, it even encourages molds that are completely safe and beneficial. This is not scary. This is ancient science perfected over centuries. Modern recipes are complicated. They tell you to weigh every gram, mix in curing salts, nitrates, spices, sometimes preservatives that were never part of traditional methods. Forget all that. The original method is simple, pure, and works every time. All you need is meat and pure salt. That's it. Make sure your salt contains nothing else. No anti-caking agents, no fortified minerals. Sea salt, kosher salt, or Himalayan pink salt will do just fine. The idea is to create a direct contact between salt and meat, letting the salt pull out moisture naturally. Every cut tells a story. Thick pork belly will cure differently than a leaner rib or a beef loin. Fat content changes texture and flavor, and, honestly, understanding this is what separates a mediocre cure from a historic masterpiece. Ancient hunters didn't have supermarkets. They understood their animals. The fattier the cut, the quicker it renders, giving you a tender, melt-in-your-mouth product. The leaner, the more toothsome and hearty it becomes, like a cross between bacon and ham. Treat your meat like an artifact. Observe its marbling. Anticipate how it will respond to time, salt, and air. This is really hands-on history in action. There's a reason this method survived empires. It's called the salt box method. It's deceptively simple, really. All you do is coat the meat with salt, lay it in a container, and then, well, just let time do the work. That's it. For thinner cuts, you don't want them sitting in the liquid that draws out of them. Fatty cuts can handle a little more osmosis, but the principle is the same. Remove moisture to protect against bacteria. Ancient Romans might have used clay bins or wooden chests. These days, a fridge crisper or a simple tub works perfectly well. The key is patience. 5 to 10 days is standard depending on the thickness. Leave it alone. Only check to ensure that it's firm, rigid, and no longer flopping in its own juices. That firmness, well, that's the first sign that history is working in your favour. After your patience has paid off, the next step is gentle. Rinse the salt off to remove excess, then pat dry. Use a clean cloth that won't leave fibres on your meat. This step is not just practical, it's ritual. You're respecting a process that has fed soldiers and explorers for centuries. Then hang it somewhere cool and dark. Hooks, twine, a simple rod, whatever keeps it suspended and exposed to air. For 5 days or more, let the environment finish its work. The meat continues to firm, the flavour develops, and you are standing witness to a transformation older than any modern kitchen appliance. Cured meat tells you when it's ready. If it's floppy or wet, it needs more time. If it's rigid, solid and fragrant, it's approaching perfection. Some cuts may develop tiny patches of white mould or salt scabbing. Don't panic. That's history in the making. Safe, traditional moulds have been relied upon for millennia. Salt scabs indicate that some areas rejected excess salt. Simply slice and soak them if they taste too intense. This is the kind of hands-on knowledge that, really separates theory from mastery. Ancient cooks didn't follow charts. They learned by observing their meat every day, feeling its texture and smelling its progress. You are continuing that lineage. When your meat is ready, you can cook it like bacon, slice it thin for sandwiches, or if you'd like, dry it further to eat raw like prosciutto. Just make sure it has lost about 30% of its weight for raw consumption. Fatty cuts render faster, crisp and brittle in the pan. Leaner cuts hold muscle fibre, giving a chewiness that honestly reminds you this meat has a story, a history embedded in every bite. The flavour difference is, remarkable. One cut might melt in your mouth with a rich, savoury fat flavour. Another might give you a solid, hearty chew, like biting into the very fabric of a Roman soldier's rations. Every bite is a connection to survival, ingenuity, and tradition. Salt curing is more than preservation. It's, a lesson in patience, observation, and respecting the materials you have. It's a direct link to the past. When you cure meat this way, you're not just making dinner. You're taking part in a method that has kept civilizations alive, fed armies, and allowed humans to explore and settle harsh lands. It's a practice that's practical today. Shelf-stable, nutrient-rich, and packed with flavour. It's also a story that you can hold in your hands, a story of chemistry, biology, and history combined. Once sliced, fried, or eaten raw, your meat is more than food. It's a living artifact, a lesson from centuries past, a reminder that human ingenuity and simplicity often outlast modern conveniences. So, If you've enjoyed uncovering this long-lost technique, make sure to subscribe and share with fellow history lovers. There's more waiting to be discovered, more forgotten techniques to bring back to life, and more secrets of survival that shaped our world. With salt, patience, and a little curiosity, you can taste history, and maybe even preserve a piece of it forever. That's a wrap on the ancient, foolproof method that turns fresh meat into a shelf-stable marvel. No additives, no machines, just one ingredient, a little patience, and a connection to every civilization that ever dared to fight time itself.